I enjoy thoroughly, my wife does as well, cruises that we have taken on Norwegian Cruise Lines. We have booked several. And once we are on the ship and settled in, it is absolutely one of our favorite things to do in terms of pastimes. On a recent cruise, probably about 18 months ago, they had an offer on the cruise ship where you could purchase what's called CruiseNext vouchers. Okay, and you could spend up to $1,000 and they would match those number of vouchers that you could apply against future cruises. Okay, and we have used 4 of the 8 of them over the last 18 months. So what had happened was I was online and I went to the Norwegian site, and there's an opportunity when you go to the site to have a chat with someone from Norwegian. So my question was simple. At times, they offer the ability to use 2 travel certificates per person on certain cruises. Okay, and instead of just using a $250 credit per person, they allow you to double them up. So what had happened was I had asked the person on the chat line if they could provide to me cruises that are coming up between now and the fall of this year where we might be able to use those vouchers. And she had said, well, we can't give those to you online. We need to call you. And I said, well, I really don't want you to call me. And, she said, why? I said, well, in cruises past, when you go to the website and you look at different opportunities and where you might want to go, what they frequently do is as you're surfing the web and you're looking at different things, the minute that you go online and express an interest in looking at the cruises, they overwhelm you with phone calls. Okay. The most recent one in particular, I had gone online, looked at a given cruise, was somewhat debating whether or not I wanted to go. And virtually every day for 2 weeks, I would get a phone call from Norwegian. And I said, if you could just provide for me a list of those cruises, we'll evaluate which ones we want to do and go from there. She says, that's not possible. I said, well, I'm a little disappointed in hearing that. And one of the reasons why I've booked Norwegian cruises around their customer service and have gone and utilized Costco was that you could do everything online. You're not being run over by a salesperson once you show some interest. So, at that point, I had gone to the website and expressed my concern that, Norwegian wasn't being forthcoming, and other people that go on Norwegian cruises, when they consider purchasing those vouchers, they need to take that into consideration. I was very disappointed to find out that quite literally those opportunities were not made available to me by just making an inquiry. They wanted to basically do a hard sell on future cruises. And that's the whole purpose that I had lodged a complaint online. Right. You go into the website and there's a box, and every time you go on there and it says chat live. So there's our cruises that are listed on there and different costs. And I had gone to the chat line and just made an inquiry as to how do I find out about those cruises where I can utilize double vouchers. And what it means is instead of using $500 for a given cruise, if it's doubled up, you can use $1,000 for the cruise. So all I wanted to know was which one of those cruises, or, do we have the opportunity to use double vouchers on? And they wouldn't give me that information. It's basically, she says, well, we have to call you. And then they started asking about what cabin size. I said, well, what does that have to do with it? We basically get a club balcony, which is not one of the lower parts of the ship. And so she asked a series of questions, but refused to give me that information. And I think your readers should know that when they're on a Norwegian cruise line and the opportunity to purchase those vouchers, they should know that they're not forthcoming in terms of how to utilize those vouchers. Well, I decided to do it because when you're on the cruise ship, they do the presentation in a very positive manner, and they make it seem so easy to utilize those vouchers. And I think it's important that, when customers go on that cruise ship, that they should be aware that they're not always forthcoming in terms of the ability to use those vouchers. It's almost like it's a secret, or it's like, well, why do you want to know? Well, I want to know because we don't have a specific date, and we will plan our date based on when that availability comes around. And I think it's important that people that go on cruise ships with Norwegian, it is a great cruise line. Don't get me wrong, okay? It's just that their customer service department is awful. And I think it's important for your readers online to know that.